Hey guys, I just want to do a quick video on the DIYPC case. This is the Shadow H3 ARGB. I actually got this for a friend. I'm building a system for him. It's going to be my first time. But I was looking for a cheap case on Newegg and I couldn't find any videos on it. So I figured I'd make a video to help anyone else who might be interested in this case. We're going to do a quick unboxing and we're going to take a bit of a closer look at it. Alright, so now that we got the case out the box, I want to go over some specs with you guys. Well, first of all, I bought this case on Newegg for $60. We were looking for a budget case, and we kind of hit all the check marks. It's got the mesh front for better airflow. It's got the power supply shroud, tempered glass side panel, and those were the things I was looking for in a case. It is a pretty small case. But it does fit ATX, and I'm going to read some of the specs for you guys. It came with 3 ARGB fans, and it has a controller. So that was kind of a selling point at this price for me. A lot of the other cases, they would maybe come with like 1 fan, but these ones come with 3. You can put one 120 millimeter in the back. You can also put 2 up top. For extra fans. The max GPU length is 315 millimeters. The max CPU cooler is 154, which is kind of limiting. And then the max PSU length is 180 millimeters. I'm actually hoping to fit a Gamax 400 in this. That one's listed at 155. But I saw a review online and someone measured it at 153. So I'm going to try to put it in here and we'll see if it works or not. Also, I noticed the dimensions listed on Newegg of the case. They're accurate except for the height. It lists it at 17.28, but when I measure it top to bottom, it's more like 17.7. Even without the feet, it would be like just under 17, so I'm not sure where that measurement came from. But going to the top of the case, you have a magnetic filter on the top, which is pretty nice. The front ports on the top, you have the power button, LED button to control your fans in the front. The colors of the fans. You have a two USB 2.0s and 1 USB 3.0, and then you have your headphone and microphone jacks there. In the back, one downside of the expansion slots, they're breakaway, so once you break it away, you can't replace them. And as I said earlier, the front is mesh, so you should get good airflow out of that. It has a tempered glass panel. Down on the bottom, there's also a dust filter on the bottom. It's not magnetic, but there's a few inserts holding them into place, so it's actually really easy to take out, but you can't slide it out, so you're most likely going to have to flip your computer around to get to it. So kind of going inside the case, the tempered glass is held on by 4 thumb screws. You can screw it in with a screwdriver, but you can also just twist it. Same with the back panel. It's held on by 2 thumb screws. I'm just going to take that off real quick, and we should get a better look of the included ARGB controller. So if your motherboard doesn't have RGB, you can use the controller. So actually the motherboard that I'm putting in here is a Z87. I'm putting a i7-4770K, is 8 years old now. So that doesn't have any RGB headers, so I'm going to be using the controller. So back panel comes off. So I accidentally just touched this piece of metal here, and it's actually doesn't look like it's cut very well, and it's kind of sharp. The rest of the build looks pretty sweet, but yeah, I did notice it's pretty poorly cut here, the metal. So just be aware of that. Just be careful. So in the little bag, you're going to be getting some additional thumb screws and other screws. You're going to need some for your expansion slots. And it comes with some additional standoffs. The standoffs come pre-installed, I believe, for ATX boards. So the case supports up to full-size ATX boards. Okay, so taking a closer look at the controller, all of the pre-installed fans are already connected to the controller, and you can change the color of the fans with the LED button on top. But if you wanted to control the fans through your motherboard, you can always reroute them to your motherboard. If you have an ARGB connector on your motherboard, you can also reroute that. It comes with the instruction manual, I should probably add, which is semi-useful, especially for somebody who has never actually built their own system. I mean, doing my research, I can figure that this is the OrSync, or if you have Gigabyte or Asus or whatever brand, you can connect it with this cable or this connector to your motherboard to control everything. Also, I wanted to go over some of the expansions, the SSD hard drive slots. So you have in the back here, you can put one SSD into this tray, or you can put two on the inside of the case. You can also fit up to 2 hard drives into the slots here. If you want to put a drive here, you're gonna have to screw in the drive from the bottom of the case, and you should be able to use those with the included screws. The front panel also comes off, so there's a little handle on the bottom, and I have actually not done this yet, but you just pull it off just like that. So then you can change the fans if you want. They're 120 millimeter fans. And then you can see some of the cable management. The wiring is pre-wired through these grommet holes. And speaking of cable management, this is a $60-ish case, so it's not going to be anything special. There's going to be no, you don't get rubber grommets, but there is openings, plenty of openings on the top and on the sides. And in terms of space on the back, I've read that some of the cheaper cases give you hardly any space to work with, but this seems pretty decent in terms of space to work with in the back. You're also going to not be getting too many little spaces for you to work with in terms of cable management, like tying zip ties through. But for a $60 case, it looks pretty good. Also, going back to the expansion slots, the top one is replaceable, but the rest of them are all cutouts. I don't know how useful that'll be, but that's the way it is. So it comes with one that you can replace. The other ones are all cut out. And speaking of materials, the case is half plastic, half like this cheap feeling aluminum. So like the top and the back are an aluminum type material. You get the tempered glass side panel. And the back is also the type of the thin metal. The front is actually plastic. The mesh is some type of metal, I assume, but the front panel is mostly plastic. Even the front, I think it's all plastic. The front is it's brushed, so it looks real nice in the front, but it is plastic, and that's kind of makes the case really light. But I'm gonna build this thing up and then show you what it looks like with the components inside and the RGB fans up in front. All right. So I was able to finish the build, and luckily the CPU cooler actually fit. So again, this CPU cooler is actually rated at 155 millimeters in height, and the case is only listed to support coolers up to 154, but it does fit. I wouldn't recommend going anything rated higher than this one, which is rated 155, because it was a really tight fit, but it does fit, so we're all good, and I'm really happy with the way it looks. I think it looks real sweet, real clean. The tempered glass looks great. The fans, so this motherboard doesn't have the ARGB connector, so I'm running the fans through the controller that it came with, and right now you can see that it's running through kind of like a rainbow preset, so they are ARGB. I was actually so you can, the LED button, you can either set it to be a reset switch, or you can have it control the style of the fans in the front. I was actually pressing through these, and there's like a million different presets, so I can go through a few of them. If you start pressing them, they do a few different things, but I could like sit here for 20 minutes and go through all of them. Like even that one I had never seen before. So there's a ton of different presets for the front fans. In terms of the build, like this is my first build from scratch. I did just upgrade my CPU motherboard on my old system, but that was kind of taking things apart from something that was already built. This one was my first system. It was not too bad. The only thing I would say is like dealing with the hard drive stuff. Like the other case that I have, everything's hot swappable. This one you have to screw everything in. So there's some things where, you know, after I put something in, I decided I needed to move it or I wanted to move it. So having to screw things in multiple times and unscrew them multiple times was kind of a hassle. But I got everything settled finally. You know, the holes in the case to run wires through was pretty sufficient, and overall I'm pretty happy with the case. So if you guys were looking into this case, you know, I hope this video helped you guys out. If it did help you out, just throw me a like, and thanks for watching.